Welcome, everybody, to The Bottom Line. Hope it was a good weekend for you. We're going to do a show on the border. We'll probably do many shows on the border. We have a couple documentaries coming out. The first is Sex Nation, the moral fall of America since the 1930s to 2023. I argue we have become a sex nation. That film is, of course, undergirded with the work that we have done in fighting sex trafficking in America, and I think that's going to be a riveting documentary, an eye-opener for America. So for sure, Sex Nation is going to, I believe, impact people. Then also the documentary Borders to Bridges. And of course, there's a lot of trafficking conversation in that documentary as well, because there's trafficking across the border, but we really dive into the broader conversation about the border. And we've had so many trips to the border. You've supported us. We just came back from our border event called Renewal at the Border, which was a worship, prayer, and accessory event this past Saturday in Eagle Pass, Texas, at the Heavenly Farms, the pecan farm with Magali and Ugo Urbina. Thank you so much. For those of you who joined us, fantastic. If you didn't, there's a live stream recording. We probably will release that again. The Upper Room worship team came out. Ilanka, the worship artist out of Nashville, came out, and phenomenal. Big stage, and probably going to make that an annual event at the border to go and intercede and worship at the border. Because I'm not seeing that we're going to shut that thing down anytime soon. I see a whole lot of lies, a whole lot of deceit from the White House to the Texas state capitol that's in session at the moment. I'm seeing Biden receiving a letter from Abbott, and I'm not seeing either of them doing anything. And you may have your opinion on the border. I will tell you, if you walk where we walk and you come stand where we stand, and you see the human trafficking, the destruction, the death, yes, I say death, on the border, the exploitation of children, the money laundering, the massive money scheme going on with NGOs and the U.S. government. If you look at the foreign entities who play a part, United Nations, Red Cross, heck, the whole Davos crowd who's meeting at the moment are all complicit. I'm telling you, what we're finding in this documentary, Borders to Bridges, that will come out at the end of March, God willing. We're working like crazy. Rebecca and the team's working really hard to get that thing edited as we're still shooting content. There will be footage in that documentary that's going to open your eyes to a level of evil, corruption, coercion from the U.S. government and all parties, by the way. The conservatives, the Democrats, the libertarians, all of them are lying to you to a degree and telling you that the border's closed, or they're doing a lot, or they're stacking shipping containers and they're going to protect the border with shipping containers. Project Lone Star, Governor Abbott, no, you're not. No, you're not shutting the border down. We talk to the ranchers. We go into Juarez. We go into Mexico. We interview those who have traveled 900 miles. We see the children. We go to the grave sites. We talk to the ranchers who pick up dead bodies. We drive past the decomposing bodies on the river. So, no politicians talking about that. No mainstream media is talking about that. As a matter of fact, we sent footage to Fox that won't play the footage. It's just too heavy. It just doesn't work for network television. Well, I'm telling you what, it's about time it starts working for the American people. Because the American people need to know. And even I go beyond that. You know, the movie is called Borders to Bridges because we believe in strong borders, but we also believe, as sons and daughters of God, as of bridges of compassion. Building bridges of compassion, helping the destitute, the forgotten, the homeless, you know, those who truly need asylum, of course, but there's a system. There is a law. We have immigration law. The irony is, it's just abandoned. It's not like we're trying to rewrite the law, or we're void of law, or we're in a no man's land territory. We have immigration law. There's a system. The law's just abandoned. We have a president that's firing deportation court judges. We have a president that shut down ICE, the law enforcement agency, to help with deportation, to find those who are illegal, to take them to court. So they stand in front of a judge. That's not happening. We are not deporting anybody. The Remain in Mexico policy is gone. Title 42 is about to be lifted. We're seeing upwards to 4,200 people a day crossing in El Paso. Literally people climbing out of the sewer pipes in the streets. We're watching people in Eagle Pass living on the U.S. side of the border in the cane. Dying, living in the desert, dying in the desert, homeless on the streets of El Paso. Until a president rolls in, of course, and then they sweep the streets. The very street, we're going to play you a little clip here, little footage of me standing at the very block where Joe Biden visited the border, and it's complete anarchy. It's like a third world country. We've got children sleeping in 9 degrees on the concrete. We're interviewing a lawyer saying she's never been homeless in her life. But now she's homeless. She was lied to. All that and so much more coming out in this documentary. I want you to look out for it. We need your support. Sex Nation needs your support. We have to protect children against sexual immorality, sex crimes against children in this country. And then, of course, Borders to Bridges. The truth has to come out. Look out for that. We have a third special, which is a CPS special. We've been working over here, man. I don't know what you're doing early in the year. Knock those cobwebs off and get to work. We've been working here. There's a special coming out on CPS, a CPS whistleblower that speaks from the inside about how children are trafficked and abused inside CPS. We've known this for years. You got to look out for that. And then there's great legislation reform. We're working on House Bill 3702 from Oklahoma to go across the country. But I'm telling you, we have a problem on our border. We've got a massive problem. Our ranchers are destitute. They're left to themselves. Our sheriffs are writing pleas. They're writing letters pleading with the government. Help us, please. We have an invasion. We're understaffed, undermanned, underfunded, underpowered, mind you, in their own county. We're now seeing that the cartel has the upper hand in the United States, by the way. Talking about a sheriff that's controlling 1,400 square miles of property. And he's got 4 deputies. 1,400 square miles. 4 deputies. More cartel members in his territory than deputies. And we're talking about inside the United States of America. We have left our border communities alone. We've left them to fend for themselves. That's why we went down there. Patriot Mobile, what a champion organization. Glenn Story, Jenny Story, the team. Check out Patriot Mobile. Again, they went to the border with us. They co-sponsored this event last Saturday in Eagle Pass. I can tell you, I watched Patriot Mobile feed hundreds of Border Patrol agents, law enforcement agents, local public with Operation Barbecue Relief. That was funded by Mercury One, Glenn Beck and Suzanne Grishman and the team from Mercury One. It was a collaborative effort between Jaco Booyens Ministries, Mercury One, Operation Barbecue Relief, Patriot Mobile, the Upper Room Church, Storehouse Church, coming together for the communities down there and saying, we love you, we see you, we stand with you. We laid hands on them. We prayed over the territory of the land. We claimed victory. We prayed against the spirit of death. Heck, we drove stakes into the ground. Had the shofar blowing. Stepping in for those who are literally fending for themselves. We're asking you to join us in these efforts. We must unite. There's more that unites us than divides us. We are all exposed. I don't care if you are left, right-leaning, how you vote. Your southern border is open. It's not just the Texas southern border. It's the southern border to our nation. And yes, New Mexico, Arizona, California, yes, they also border Mexico, but it's teeny tiny little borders. We've got 1,254 miles of border, Texas to Mexico. So if you don't shut this thing down in Texas, we are wide open. And historically, we look at countries without borders in Africa, anarchy sets in. We're the only country at the moment that's just abdicating our responsibility to defend our borders. We've sent $96 billion, maybe more and counting, to the Ukraine to secure their border between them and Russia. Well, Jaco, that's a war. They're invading. It's a war. We're being invaded. And I'm not just talking about the mother and daughter who wants a better life for themselves, who truly deserve asylum, who actually comes from a country that qualifies for asylum. Now I'm talking about the MS-13 members, the cartel members that's coming across, the fentanyl that's flowing across, members from over 200 nations coming across, people coming from countries where there's no asylum threat, there's no political instability, there's no war in their countries. They're just using an opportunity to enter illegally. Some come, maybe to become Americans, to assimilate. That's a lost word. Who's talking about assimilation today? What's assimilation? You come to become an American, which you don't have a choice, by the way, if you do it legally. Legally, like I had to. My mom, my sister, other people from around the world came legally. You assimilate. You become an American. Heck, you write an exam. Yeah, a physical exam to prove that you understand the branches of government, the founding fathers, how we're set up, how we function as a society. What is an American? Can you speak English? Can you write English? Maybe you didn't know this. You take a written English test, a spoken English test. And then you swear an allegiance to this country. You swear to bear arms. You swear to protect this nation and its people from a foreign and domestic threat. You become an American. There's no talk about becoming American. Who's tracking the folks who are coming in? Even if they're coming in for the right reasons. Where's that? Where's that process? And then this notion that come to America and come work and somehow pay the cartel because they all own the cartel. We have a document in this documentary coming out that is a literal modern day 2023 slave trade ledger of what this particular coyote is owed per head, per child, per man, per woman. But the border's open. Human beings are being trafficked in Mexico, in Venezuela, Guatemala, Honduras, Cuba, because we are open. We are enticing criminal element to thrive. We have created a business model for criminal element to exploit people. We did that. The Mexican president stands complicit. Heck, he opened his back and front door. He's allowing people to be trafficked into his country. He's not shutting down his southern border. He's not stopping people from raping and plundering women and children in Mexico. He's not stopping the cartel. He's not stopping the Mexican National Guard, who we now have on record numerous testimonies, who are boarding buses with their rifles, demanding $500 per person on the bus. The corruption is rank throughout Mexico. Their governors, their attorney generals, what are they doing? No, they're just saying, pass through as long as you don't stop. You can't hover here. As long as you just keep on passing through all the way across the river into America. I go into Piedras Negras. I stand there with Brian, our security team. Brian goes, Jaco, what's missing? There's no homeless on the streets. It's basically a third world country where there's no homeless on the streets. I go into a store, a taco shop. Where's your homeless? Quite brazen and blasé, the store owner in Spanish says, and it's translated to me, oh, no, our homeless go across the river to America. We are Mexico's welfare system. Their hardcore criminals gets released, they come over here. See, it's not just the bleeding heart of, well, the person wants to come for a better life. There is a faction of that. Of course, there's also a process for that. If you're from Cuba, you're going to get asylum. If you're Puerto Rico, if you're from Venezuela, you most likely will qualify for asylum. And hey, by the way, the U.S. Embassy, where you're going to claim asylum, they're not going to traffic you to the cartel. They're not going to leave you in the hands of the Darien Gap cartel members. They're going to follow a legal process where you ask for asylum. Documents flow back and forth from Washington, D.C. to that consulate general, and you get granted asylum. They're not going to charge you $6,500, which is the going rate for Eagle Pass by the cartel, or $8,500, which is the going rate for El Paso. They're not going to stop you at the border and say, hey, if you don't let us traffic your daughter, we're going to kill your child in front of you. Or to the child, we're going to rape your mother in front of you, so you will comply. No, when you follow the legal path, those things go away. So what are we doing? Our administration has intentionally, the current administration, the previous administration shut the border down, had a legal system. The wall that was built by Trump is now just an ornament. Why? Because you go to El Paso and the gate's in the wall, and every quarter mile, half a mile, there's a gate. The gates are left open. Wonder why? Oh, it's instruction from Mayorkas and from the White House. Border Patrol can't shut the gate if they want to. The holes in the fence across the canal, those holes are not being mended. I ask why? Well, we're not allowed to. Private farmers put up fences on their property. They're told, great, you can put up a fence, but you're going to have a gate, and you're going to leave the gate open. These are the facts. This is why you have to watch this documentary. This is why we need your support. This is why there needs to be pressure on every governor that borders Mexico. Good luck getting Governor Hobbs from Arizona to do anything. I tell you what, Carrie Lake would have. Oh, she was going to put some pressure, bit of a vice grip on Governor Abbott. But he dodged that bullet. He dodged that accountability hour because Hobbs is not going to put pressure on him. No, Hobbs is going the other direction. See, under Hobbs, Biden ordered for their shipping container wall to be removed. So they deconstruct it. They're going in the opposite direction. Good luck getting Newsom to do something, right? Other than aiding and abetting the exploitation of children with the laws that he brings into California. New Mexico, basically left alone. It's Texas. It's Texas. This conversation about our border is a Texas conversation because the others can't do it. They're not in the right mind to do it. So this has to be an every American conversation, and we must show you the truth because the politicians are showing you the opposite. They go stand in front of a wall or a shipping container or a fence that they built around the POE, the points of entry, half a mile this way, half a mile this way, and they stand in front of their piece of wall, and the camera turns on, and they say, see, it's a wall behind us. That's Mexico, but here's a wall. See the Humvee. See the National Guard. They don't show you people crossing and the National Guard sitting them down, calling a white bus to pick them up and take them to the processing center and giving them a ticket to fly or drive a bus into America. Not tracing, not keeping touch with them. Don't know where they're going. Do you know that we're now on record, even by Mayorkas' own team, losing track of over 40% of the children that are coming into the country? Where are they? We don't know. Do we have a tracking system? No. Did we vet and verify the family, air quotes, that they went to? No. We following up? No. But we gave him a piece of paper with a notice to appear 6 months from now to a judge. Oh, which judge? The ones that were fired? No, a probation officer. Good luck. Good luck. Meanwhile, the predators in this country are smiling, calling them ghost children because nobody's looking for them. Meanwhile, the children are the ones trafficking, not by their choice, but they're the mules bringing the fentanyl into the country. Meanwhile, we got over 100,000 Americans dying from fentanyl poisoning. That conversation is not being had. Destruction of property, death, murder. It's insane. We're not even talking about what you're going to see in this movie about the grave sites for children. I mean, are you sick yet? You better buckle up. And you don't get to look away from this. You don't get to tell me you're an American and you just refuse to look at the facts and the truth, because we're not sugarcoating anything. Nothing is secondhand. Nothing is third party. We are there. We film it. We conduct the interviews. We see it. We talk to the ranchers. We talk to the people, the migrants, the law enforcement. We go into Mexico. We're going into the brothel district in Mexico. You don't get to say, well, I just don't want to see. See no evil, hear no evil. If I don't know, I don't have to do anything about it. No, it's your responsibility to see. And then it's between you and God of what you're going to do with the information that we share with you. I pray you do the right thing. I pray you get a little bit upset. I pray you take some action. I pray you apply some pressure on the ones that can actually make a difference. But looking away for either of these two documentaries we're producing, Sex Nation, you absolutely better not look away. That's the sexualization and the sex trafficking of children. So my rule is, if you look away from that one, you're a perpetrator. You must be part of the problem. You must be for or pro exploitation of children. The border one, I argue you shouldn't look away either, because you should love your country. And actually, true compassion, love the people that are being trafficked in the process towards America, because they're being exploited in Mexico before they arrive here, in their own countries. They're crossing illegally through numerous territories. They're being exploited. They're being stolen from, lied to, malnourished. So you want to talk about real compassion? Yeah, let's talk real compassion. That is incompassionate. To lie to somebody to say, hey, when you set your foot on American soil, we got you a job, a home, a warm meal. They get the meal, one. They get the new clothes, the cell phone, and then it's bus ticket somewhere. And then wherever they arrive, if it's in a liberal city, they go, we don't want you here. You got to go back. Hello, Martha's Vineyard. Hello, Lori Lightfoot, Chicago. Hello, New York. We got 9,000 migrants in New York. It's shutting the city down. You're a city of 10 million people. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. New York, New York. You can't handle 9,000 migrants? How about 4,200 a day in El Paso? Oh, but your policies, your woke policies, you're a sanctuary state, Chicago. Sanctuary. Why? Just to feel good? Or can we send all the migrants to you? Lightfoot, Pritzker in Illinois. You're more interested in gender fluid studies than taking care of people. All you guys, you virtue signaling monkeys. You're a bunch of monkeys sitting in the tree, pointing at people, going, oh, virtue, virtue. Humanitarian, until it's you who need to come out of the tree and come actually do something. Then all of a sudden, no, this is not acceptable. We want to prosecute the governors that send people our way. And this is not just the liberals. Where's our Republican leadership? Lindsey Graham, when last did you stand at the Rio Grande? Mitch McConnell, when last did you stand there? AOC. Kevin McCarthy went down and got a little short. Kevin, come with us. Come see the real stuff. It's comfy by the points of entry. It's safe. There's a hotel in sight. Black SUV. Come to Hudspeth County. The places where there's no light pollution, where you can see the stars. Go to those border places and see how the cartel watch us more than we watch them. So yeah, I want you to watch this documentary. Both of them. Sex Nation's coming out next month. And I hope it rocks people to the core to where they wake up and get the fear of God in their lives again and say, listen, man, as an adult, you want to be stupid, deaf, dumb, and mute, you go live your life, but you don't get to abuse a child. You don't get to look away when a child is being abused. No, you don't have that privilege. That's millstone time. For those of you who don't know what that means, a little scripture would do you good. Rather you put a millstone around your neck than to lead one of these children astray. And it's not even just harming the child, it's lead them astray. Into sex trafficking, into a 900-mile journey of where they're going to be, traded like cattle, like a piece of furniture. Sold by their own family for sex in America. Groomed in the classroom by their teacher. Sodomized by the Boy Scouts. Yeah. No, it's time. Sex Nation, it's coming. You need to watch it. Help us promote it. Distribute it. And by watching it, you are contributing to the fight against sex trafficking. Because the funds will pour into fighting sex trafficking. And then, on the heels of that, watch a little CPS special. And then on the heels of that, watch Borders to Bridges. We're just going to crank you up quarter one, quarter two to learn how to go to war against evil. Maybe a little purpose in your life. Okay, some real activism. Now, I'm not mad at you. I'm just telling you there's a line in the sand. And it's time for us as a nation to truly value life again, step up, and defend those that are the voiceless. The widow, the orphan. And I would argue a child sold into sex trafficking is an orphan. The children in our CPS system, they're orphans. They're being plundered of their virtue, their purity. And we're so woke, we don't even want to say that it's not okay. It's not okay. And here cometh the hour, cometh the man. Well, the hour has come. So we'll see which men predominantly will step up and step in, and which women will step up and step in and say, hey, whoa, wait a minute. Before God destroys more of his people like he did in the past, maybe we need a sanity check in this nation. I want to talk about a company that's really standing with us as Patriot Mobilists, and that is Storyville Coffee. Please go online to Storyville Coffee. Storyville has dedicated their whole company to fighting sex trafficking, the sexual exploitation of children in this country. Thank you, Gary Phelps. Thank you, John and Esther, your whole teams, Melanie, Matt, for committing to combating human trafficking. And I will tell you this. I put Storyville Coffee against any coffee on earth for its taste, its flavor profile, its excellence, its packaging, for their customer support. Go online and subscribe to Storyville Coffee. By subscribing, you are directly combating human trafficking, saving the lives of children. I know it was a heavy, short episode with a lot of information. You can do it. Go to helpjbm.org, our website. Educate yourself on sex trafficking. Borderstobridges.com, I believe it is. And in Sex Nation, the film, or just sexnationfilm.com for Sex Nation coming out next month. Just because I want to, big shout out to PragerU, Marissa Strait and PragerU. They're not a sponsor of the show. I just love them, so I want to promote them. They do phenomenal work and help us to protect children. Marissa and the gang at PragerU, you are champions. Thank you so much. Sean Rehas, AG Rehas of Utah, the number one AG with Ken Paxton in this nation. Ken Paxton from Texas fighting sex trafficking. We've got champions in this fight, but we need you to be one of those. God bless you. Thank you. Talk to you next time.